Welcome to the Art of Rebirth Unplugged. I'm your host, Grace Linehunter. You're listening to Wise Serpent Radio on Wise Serpent Underground. Music, art, wisdom. We're exploring the art of rebirth through music, art and wisdom. And today we're going to be talking about youth suicide solutions within Australian entertainment and what the latest research is telling us, announcing our More Awareness campaign starting next week. Music, Art, Wisdom, MAW, More Awareness campaign starts next week. This Art of Rebirth Unplugged series is the behind the scenes version of the films that I'll be producing over the coming years, and also in general, conversations behind the scenes for this body of work as I explore the art of rebirth, the beauty of transformation through music, art and wisdom, through more. So that's what I do as the Minister of the Arts here at the Wise Serpent Group, owner of the Wise Serpent Group, and some other brands, a family of brands that I'm developing and showing behind the scenes development, etc. One of those I'm excited to announce today is SWJ14, aka She Was Just 14, in honor of my cousin who lost her life when she was just 14. So as I'm doing this More Awareness campaign, people connect with people and people connect with personal stories, and so I'm telling the truth about my family history and that we really did lose someone in our family to this epidemic. And I say epidemic because more than heart disease, cancer or road accidents, kids are killing themselves in Australia. It's the number one cause of death for young people in Australia ages 15 to 24. I lost my cousin Rebecca when she was just 14, hence we give away free services and have a free mentoring program called Dragon for youth and young adults ages 14 to 24. In those early teenage years going into early adulthood, really important for shaping one's future. And the latest research shows us that youth mentoring is extremely positive and has returns on investment. Raise Foundation last year released their findings that for every $1 invested in youth mentoring in Australia, $4.37 come back in social benefits. So for the whole community, the research shows that there is a return on investment, dollar for dollar. In fact, there's a 337% return. And I love these numbers because, of course, it's a nod towards the 37 Club, which is our own funding platform, not dissimilar to a Patreon or a school or some way that people can kind of sew into a vision. We're using Stripe payments right now, but it's our own website, it's our own brand. It's called the 37 Club. You can help with our mission and vision to help create a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art and wisdom from as little as $37. Actually, memberships are free. We'll cover the $370 membership fee right now. Do the survey to get on board there at the 37club.com.au. That's the 37 with the number, the 37club.com.au, and fill out the survey there, become a free member. You can upgrade if you would like to, and there's other ways that you can get involved as well. That's the backbone support network, if you will, for the vision. But the awareness campaign, what is the 37 Club? It's a little bit of a, what is that? That's just a funding mechanism. Really the awareness that I'm excited to kind of bring about into the community in South Australia and beyond here, Australia and internationally, as we do our work here, She was just 14 is that vehicle, I believe, which is the pointy end of the spear, which is the thing that can kind of cut through the noise, through a personal story, a real story, and you know, quite a you know, it's a pattern interrupt to even hear that. You know, she was just 14. What is that about? You know, it's a very vulnerable age, and it's a very in-your-face kind of title. It's kind of Australia's version, if you will, of To Write Love in Her Arms. To Write Love in Her Arms. So it's kind of Australia's version of that. That's the way I'm kind of envisioning it. The 37 Club is how we're funding for that vision, and also in the future it may fund our man-beast missions for men's prison ministry, and also Angel or Earth Angel. Haven't decided on the title yet, but when we do the women's ministry, when we have a team. This is when we have a team in place. We're starting with the youth because that's really was brought to my attention in my 30s. The statistics there, that's the leading cause of death for young people in Australia. I just thought I got to do something. Like, that's crazy. It pissed me off. To be honest, my first reaction was anger, you know, because I really didn't know that until I was in my 30s, and I'd lost my cousin when she was just 14. So it was a bit of a shock when I heard about it, and it kind of just made me angry was my response. I was like, this isn't right. This shouldn't be our culture. This shouldn't be our culture. And so our mission and vision is to create a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music and wisdom. You'll hear that a lot. And I'm doing these Art of Rebirth short films to kind of, you know, they'll develop over time, and like I said, they might even be dipped in colour in the future, or you know, cartoons. There's no cap. Right now it's just black and white. It's just the contrast. It's just that, keeping it simple. And the same with the Art of Rebirth Unplugged, which you're here with me right now for this first ever episode of it. So looking forward to interviewing more people, getting the Conversations with Grace out there, the Art of Rebirth Conversations with Grace podcast. Looking forward to that. We've already recorded some, we're going to be releasing them. This is the unplugged version, like I said, and I did want to speak to, and I have been speaking to, this youth suicide epidemic that we have. And I've got some notes here. I will have a drink while we're on. Sparkling. While we're gathering these notes, seeing I knocked over the water. How graceful of me. How you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Life is quite amazing. It's the contrast, it's the paradox, and it's the contrast is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, night and day, for better or worse. I mean, choose your hard. Life is hard, but it's not bad. But it can be experienced as bad because we are sensitive creatures, and we get to experience the whole spectrum of a human experience, which includes the good, the bad, the ugly, and the absolutely fantastic. And I want to lean into that. And what I've realized on my journey is taking self-responsibility for how I feel in the moment. Can't control everything out here, but I can control how I react, and I can control how I interpret that information, and I can put a positive spin on everything. I can actually put a positive spin on everything, which in turn makes my life better. It makes it fantastic. It makes the highs more rich, but also grounded, and it makes the lows not just bearable, but I'm excited for what's coming, because I know the pattern of reality is where there's death, there's a rebirth. And so the beauty of transformation includes the death. Look at the caterpillar. That's all I can say is just look at the caterpillar for a prime example of that transformation. And it really is as plain to see as that. And you're not separate from this same reality that goes through that Art of Rebirth process, that beauty of transformation, the hero's journey. My version of saying it is the art of rebirth. And I connect that art of rebirth throughout all the family of brands that I'm building. You know, Wise Serpent Dream, which is our dream agency, aka talent agency, and that's who we're helping in Australian entertainment. And we haven't even mentioned the Australian entertainment statistics, and I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, that's what this is all about, is encouraging people to look up and see the light at the end of the tunnel. You have to see that light at the end of the tunnel. It's there, and at some point you can reach the light and become the light also, because that light's within you. You're the light in the world. Don't let anyone put out your light. No one can actually put out your light except for you, actually, if you take great responsibility for your soul, for your innermost being. But just on that, yeah, I want to throw back to an actual personal story. I've already mentioned one personal story about losing my cousin when I was in primary school, and when she was just a couple years older than me. She was just 14. And we have this awareness campaign, more awareness campaign starting next week, and it'll be ongoing. I don't see an end to that, and we'll have other ambassadors and other people coming in, and it won't just be me. It's going to be a group of people, and creating a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art, wisdom. Some people behind the camera, behind the scenes, unseen, anonymous, and others out front on the stage, running with. So out there, it's going to be both. So if you feel inspired to get involved, please do check out the37club.com.au, or head to gracelionhunter.com, or wiseserpent.com, or wiseserpentdream.com. Any of these sites, you'll follow your nose, you'll find there is a way to participate in what we're doing, not just from a financial point of view, but you can actually get involved as a volunteer, as an ambassador, as a sponsor, as a partner. There's lots of ways that you can get involved. So, like I said, fill out that survey. It lets us know how we can work together. If that's if there's something that overlaps, if that vision overlaps, then we'll find out in that survey. And of course, you can win a free trip to Kangaroo Island, the island of the dead, in South Australia. That is the indigenous name for Kangaroo Island, for those that are unfamiliar. The island of the dead, the perfect place to rebirth, and that is the place that we launched our brand Wise Serpent in 2022, 11/11/2022, via Wise Serpent Festival, an online festival, very small, but we did it. We did it, and we launched the brand there, and we had a retreat at the same time with Jeremy from Chi Coaching came, and it was great. So anyway, we've got another one of those coming up. The date is to be announced, but that you can win a free trip to Kangaroo Island, the island of the dead. I mean, to this creators retreat. I mean, transformational retreat. It's fantastic. So I've got a few more things to say, but not that much to say. I wanted this to be fairly concise. But I was talking about hope and light at the end of the tunnel, and really it reminded me of a story, true story again. Like I mentioned, there's Rebecca, my cousin, but this happened when I was living in Melbourne, and another thing I want to address is, like, why me? Who am I? Who am I to do anything about this? And I'll get to my credentials, if you will, or why not me, and why not you? And encourage people to find their passion and find what their value is to their community. And trade into that. Put your time and energy into that. So we'll touch on that in a second. But this ties into that, because this is what I used to do and still do. I've just slowed down this whole band life thing. But I used to play in bands, and I used to tour around Australia. And one of my friends, a group of friends, the band, the Getaway Plan, they were playing a show, and they got me a ticket on the door. And actually, it's interesting, intuitively I just knew about this just, you know, I don't know if you guys believe in this extra perception stuff, but I, you know, just heard clear as day, you know, bang. I was like, bang. And the nightclub at the time, which was, that we used to play at, and the Getaway Plan played at sometimes, was called Bang, you know, you might have remembered that. Anyway, this is back, oh gee, I don't know, 2012 to 2015, somewhere in there. Just a guesstimate. But yeah, they were playing, yeah, I heard that actually, and then I seen later in the day, oh, they've got this concert at Bang. I was like, oh, Bang. I got to go now, because like that curiosity was there, and I reached out and they got me on the door, and I came along. I didn't even think I had enough money to pay, to be honest, at that point. So you know, all the universe conspired for me to be there at that night. So I'm there, and I actually didn't want to go. A part of me didn't want to go, because I was going through my own kind of rebirth thing and transformational thing, where I was very sensitive to other vibrations, and I wanted to protect myself. I'd been in this cave for a while, because shielding myself from the world, because I felt like I needed to do that. I needed to shield myself away from the world. And going out there, I just felt like, you know, a little bit vulnerable, and I had this vision of, you know, this frequency in 528 hertz, and I was like, cool. I was like, I just felt faith to stand within this distortion, within this realm, you know, at a rock and roll gig, and all these frequencies bouncing off the wall, to stand in my own vibration. And so if that's you, if you're hiding away from the world can't take from your vibration. You can bring your vibration to the world. You can bring it, you know. To overcome is inclusive. You can actually transcend, trance and dance. You don't have to hide yourself away. You can come to the dance. Anyway, that's literally what happened in my leading up to this concert, this gig. And there was a young lady highlighted to me at the front of the stage, and you know, I just seen her. She was highlighted to me, that's all I can say. I just like seen her, she was just like, it was like her. I was like, what about her? Like, and it was just like, her. I was like, okay, noted. I went, you know, I was expecting to run into her, you know, at some point in the night, and I didn't see her again. It wasn't until after the band had played that we were packing up, and the security guard came to me and said, oh, there's some girls waiting for you out the front. He thought I must have been part of the band or something, because I wasn't. I was just helping out, you know, and I was just there, you know, behind the scenes. But I go out the front, and who's there? It's this young lady. And so I knew, okay, I'm supposed to say something to her, or there's something meant to happen. I just went within, I was like, what do I say to her? I just asked the question, and one word came, and it was hope. Hope. That was it. That's all I got. And so I said, hey, look, I don't know you obviously, but I felt like I was supposed to say something to you, and it's just one word, and it's just hope. I'm supposed to tell you hope. And I just watched her face just melt. I saw her take that word in like an oh my gosh kind of moment for her, and I literally just saw her start crying in front of me. And she said, you have no idea what that means to me right now. So I'd encourage you to follow intuition, follow the flow of this crazy thing we call life, and things like this can happen. But it really stuck with me, and I remember it, and I know the power of hope, of the light at the end of the tunnel, because who knows, she might have been at the end of that. And maybe she just needed someone to just light a candle again. But really, I was just the permission slip for her to light her own candle, you know. She didn't need me. But words are powerful, moments are powerful, so take the opportunity if you can to bless someone and not curse someone. You know, to do good to someone and not treat someone maybe as they even deserve. Sometimes people deserve to be treated a certain way due to their actions, and you want your justice and everything. But I encourage you, life has its own justice system worked out. Maybe you don't need to enforce that justice. Maybe you feel called to. I'm not here to judge your actions. I'm just saying, best you can, encourage one another. Live in harmony with one another. So that's my story about hope. And so how are we creating a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art, wisdom, specifically in the entertainment industry? One of those keys is hope. We had to encourage and build hope. Now, hope deferred makes the heart sick, it is written. So it's not just about hope, it's about faith and it's about love. Because hope, you could have hope your whole life, but if you never get what you're hoping for, it's kind of like this, you know, it's better to have hope than no hope, but it's like laced with doubt, some would say. Hope can be laced with doubt. So hope is the canvas that you want to paint on, but you need faith. You need the brush of faith, you need the color of love and passion and excitement to really bring those things together and bring your future into the now. Bring the light at the end of the tunnel into your now. Okay, so that's what we want to do, you know, to create a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art, wisdom. Now, specifically the entertainment industry, why are we focused there? Now, my past experience is in all of that, and so that's why I feel like I have some credibility in that space. You know, Radio Adelaide, the local noise show there, they tweeted out about me when I released my first solo release, CD back in the day. It was about 10 years ago now. But they tweeted out, you know, one of Adelaide's greatest singer-songwriters is poised for a comeback, because I'd previously been in bands, and the guy that was, you know, working for him, he was familiar with the band and perhaps a fan of the band, I don't know. But certainly I had some credibility with him, at least, because he wrote that and tweeted that out. So, you know, I'm using that kind of press, even now in the More Awareness campaign 10 years later, because I am poised for a comeback, and I am coming back via this campaign. I will be starting to release more music and doing those outward-facing, public-facing activities more and more, as I've spent a long time in my own personal life transforming and becoming the person that I want to become, and building the assets, the digital assets and infrastructure and the IP and everything like that, ready to go out and you know, create a positive shift. And also micro-testing, and we did a pilot youth program as well, so all this kind of stuff. But why the entertainment industry? Well, one, because that's where I have experience and life experience, okay? That's where I can make a difference. That's where I come from, that's where I am, that's where I'm going to be more involved in, the entertainment industry. Not only that, but through entertaimentassist.org.au, you can check out the recent reports of workers in entertainment through a really big survey done in Melbourne, Australia, the arts capital of Australia, which we will be linking up with as well. From South Australia, we're going to have a arts program, a mentorship program that links artists to the arts capital, and vice versa. Some would argue that Adelaide is just as good. It's my home state, South Australia here, Adelaide being the capital of South Australia, and yeah, it is good. We've got the Fringe Festival. It's like the second biggest festival of its kind in the whole world. It's you know, it's got this contrasting thing. It's very quiet for most of the year, but then it gets big with some of the, you know, bigger festivals coming through. But yeah, Melbourne is a great place, and you know, I've lived there several times, and we'll be back there. You know, we'll be working towards creating a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art, and wisdom. We're starting here, grassroots here. We're always going to be in South Australia, but when I say we, I mean the brand. You know, it's our origin story. It's my homeland, and it's going to develop here. But as we spread across Australia, etc., and internationally, it's going to be, you know, I guess the foundational stone, if you will, here in Adelaide. And so, Entertainment Assist in Melbourne, they did this survey, extensive survey, interviewing workers in entertainment, and they found that suicide ideation is like 6 to 7 times worse than the general public, and suicide rates are more than double, you know, in that industry. And so you know, that just brought more heat on the fire for me. And more, you know, not only the leading cause of death for young people, but like, you know, it looks like even worse than that in the entertainment industry. And so it kind of just makes sense to do something in this field. Again, why me? I mean, that's, you know, that's where I come from. That's, you know, why not me? You know, I'm passionate about it. I've got my personal story attached to it with losing my cousin. Then I found out the statistics later on in life, and kind of made me angry and kind of affected me, and I wanted to do something, stirred something up in me. And then, you know, I just found out these statistics last year about the, you know, it being significantly worse, double the rates of suicide for workers in entertainment in Australia. So that's kind of what the feedback is as we look at the data. And so, yeah, we're absolutely looking to create a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art and wisdom. It's the leading cause of death for young people, you know, worse than car accidents, cancer or heart disease, you know. So we got to stop kids killing themselves, like, and I believe it comes through hope, faith and love. I believe it comes through getting, you know, you can't assume what someone's gone through, and you can't assume exactly what they need. That's why it's important to have conversations and give people space to actually breathe. And, you know, give them, you know, who am I to say that they don't have the freedom to do the things that they do? You know, I'm not here to judge, but I am here to encourage, and maybe there's a better way. And maybe there is healing on the end of pain. Maybe that is possible. And so we're looking to transport real life testimonies and real life stories of transformation. People who have gone through the art of rebirth themselves, going from those dark places, and going through to the other side and making it through. You know, and I've spoken to people like this that they have, you know, attempted to take their own lives, and they're here today, and they are in a beautiful place. Some of these people have really healed in those areas, and so it is possible to be right down in the valley, but then have that valley filled with milk. So rising to the top, it's possible. The land of milk and honey is a real place. So that's encouraging, and when we see that somebody else has gone through a similar thing, or you know, have gone through a similar thing, but they've made it through the eye of the needle, that can make the difference, just to have a role model. So with this, it's about sharing stories of transformation. It's about putting on events that are transformational, getting guest speakers that are transformational, with lived experience, and mentors with lived experience to help open up pathways to careers as well, and purpose, so that young people can have a purpose in their work and feel like they're contributing something of value from within to without. So really encouraged to open up those pathways in the industry, and working with collaborations, etc., to make that possible. You know, I'll be mentoring as well, but it's not just about me, it's about getting a group of mentors together. Absolutely. So if you're interested in mentoring, please head to wiseserpentdream.com or the37club.com.au. So youth talent mentoring. We really are excited about that. So events, media and mentoring, they're the three big things that we're doing with the Dragon Youth Mentorship Program. That's really exciting, and the more awareness campaign is just bringing about awareness about these subjects and about these statistics, and also about what we're doing to help create a positive shift and how you can get involved too. If you feel like you want to donate, then please do at the37club.com.au. From as little as $37, you can get involved and start helping us with that crowdfunding subscription. Thank you. So there is a waiting list for the new version, if you will, of the Dragon Mentorship Program as well. I'll just mention that. So when you sign up to that, you'll be part of the waiting list, ready for the next installment of mentors that come through, and of that youth program. And like I said, for every $1 invested, Ray's Foundation found in youth mentoring every $1 invested equates to $4.37 returned in social benefits, because of the pathways that open up, because of the mindset that changes, the confidence, and just the output from that, the return on investment is equated to that amount. So basically, like I mentioned, hope, faith, love, and getting role models, and mentors with lived experience who have exhibited successful traits and ideal outcomes in their own lives and areas of expertise, whether that be mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally, professionally, and relationally. Getting these people, these role models who have exhibited success and successful traits and ideal outcomes in their areas of expertise and in their lives, getting them in front of kids, getting them in front of young adults, getting them in front of kids, youth, and young adults to help create a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art, and wisdom, one person at a time. It is possible, and for me, if it's just for one person, it's worth it. What's the value of a soul? What's the value of one person's life changed? For me, that is keeping it simple, one person at a time. So, but that's a real key, getting role models and stories of transformation out through the media, but role models for the mentoring, mentors with lived experience, and events that are experiential, that enable an experience for young people to tangibly experience something that is beneficial for them, whether they have some kind of, what we're planning to do is doing workshops as one of the events, of course, so it's hands-on experience. But we're looking forward to doing live gigs, we're looking forward to doing live painting, we're looking forward to doing music, art, wisdom, events, media, and mentorships for youth without any barrier of entry, without any financial burden or anything like that. That's all free for youth. So if you want to help fundraise for that, then please do, again, visit the37club.com.au. It means a lot, and it helps fundraise this work, because this is all going to cost. Every $1 invested, $4.37 comes out the other side, so it's a good investment according to Ray's Foundation, the research they've done. So we greatly need it, as touched on by the research and statistics I've brought forward today. The number one cause of death for young people in Australia being youth suicide, and it being doubly as worse in the entertainment industry. So role models, really important. And I just want to mention that how we're helping is holistic. It's not just like opening up career pathways or a little bit of encouragement thrown in. It's really going deep into like the holistic nature. So we help on a physical level, a mental level, a spiritual level, an emotional level, and a relational level, and a professional level. So that we've got 6 key areas of growth. The sixth sense being the spiritual and or emotional, energy and motion components, which are really important. Because don't you know, you want the things that you want for the feeling that you have in having them. You want the things that you want because you want to feel a certain way. Emotions are so important, and they're big movers in this whole decision-making process. For someone to go and commit, emotions play a huge role. Energy in motion, so we're all about that, holistic approach, physical, mental, spiritual and emotional, relational and professional approach. Those all being key components to how we're helping create a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art, wisdom. Thanks for listening today. I'm your host, Grace Linehunter. I might not always be hosting, but certainly I'm starting this thing, I'm founding this thing, and in the future it would be nice if someone else takes my place. This can be an ongoing thing, just like Walt Disney's gone, but Walt Disney is not really gone. Disney is still with us. His spirit remains via the elements and vehicles he created as a visionary. These are vehicles for magic and creation that he's put into the world, and other people have taken that and bring in more art, more creativity, more magic into the world. And so Wise Serpent is an entertainment ministry, it is an entertainment brand, and I'm sharing the youth vision today. If you weren't aware of it, or if you wanted to learn more about it, I just spoke about it here for that reason, to shed light on it. And if you are aged 14 to 24 living in Australia, then please join the Dragon Youth Mentorship. Head over to wiseserpentdream.com/dragon. Fill out the form there. Fill out the same form if you want to volunteer or mentor. It's the same form. Just select mentorship, or select that you want to actually mentor, or select that you actually want to join the dream team and volunteer. That would be great. It's all on the same page. And the 37 Club is our funding model for all this. She Was Just 14, which I've announced today, is the awareness component of how we're going to bring about awareness to this issue through this more awareness, this Music, Art, Wisdom, MAW, more awareness campaign starting next week, because I'm ready. And this is all part of getting ready to be ready, so that we can do this work and keep producing and adding to this body of work of exploring the art of rebirth through music, art, wisdom. Got more short films coming with the art of rebirth, got conversations coming with people locally and hopefully internationally in the future as well. So really excited about the Art of Rebirth Conversations with Grace. You've been listening to the Art of Rebirth Unplugged with myself, Grace Lanata, owner of the Wise Serpent Group, Minister of the Arts here at Wise Serpent, and exploring the art of rebirth through music, art, wisdom. You're listening to Wise Serpent Radio on the Wise Serpent Underground Network. Good to have you. Stay wise and enjoy the flow. Peace, guys. World peace, that is. Thanks for listening. Music, art, wisdom.